Today's video is sponsored by the website builder Squarespace. More about them in the main clip. The sexiest fragrances for men for the sexiest fragrance notes. In my experience as a fragrance collector, I've learned to enjoy certain fragrance notes more than others. If you guys don't know what a fragrance note is, it's sort of like an idea or an ingredient that is a major factor of a fragrance that contributes majorly to its scent profile. So those would be notes like vanilla, musks, citruses, woods. I have certain notes that are my favorites, as does any collector, and today I want to share with you guys 8 different fragrances that I think are extremely attractive that highlight why I think each of these notes are so attractive in the first place. With each of these entrants, I'm going to discuss the notes briefly, kind of where it comes from, its scent profile on its own, and then I'm going to discuss the fragrance and how it kind of brings that idea of the notes and the best factors of it to life. Let's begin. Number 1 is the Boozy Note. A Boozy Note is not going to be a natural note. It's going to be something synthetic, but it's usually an accord that recreates an idea in perfumery, whether that's going to be whiskey, cognac, or brandy, these kind of notes. And essentially it kind of creates an evening effect. It's something usually paired with ambers. It's going to be warmer, sweeter fragrances like Jazz Club or Mancera's Amore Cafe. But today, this is one of the most attractive fragrances. It's not necessarily for men actually, but I think men can really rock this beautifully. That is Kilian's Angel's Share. I finally acquired a full bottle. This is one of the sexiest evening fragrances that's won many awards now. Super balanced, gourmand, ambery, boozy perfumery. I think the boozy note here is cognac, if I'm correct, and overall, you don't even know what liqueur smell. You just kind of get this idea of a boozy note, and it does just make you feel like you're in an evening environment. You're in a really classy, elegant event. It smells like elegance, like class. The blend and the perfumery here is perfect. It's so nicely balanced and smooth. It has a very prominent cinnamon note in here. There's also a lot of people actually compare this to Ojan by Parfum de Marly, but that's I think Ojan is more gourmand, more like an apple pie smelling fragrance than Angel's Share. This is more of a boozy, balanced fragrance in my opinion. So if you want one of the best unisex, evening, boozy, amber fragrances to exist in the market right now, there's a lot of hype behind this one. You should go check it out. I created School of Scent because I did want you guys to learn more about the sexiest men's fragrances out there in the industry, which can often be overwhelming. Hence why I made originally schoolofscent.com that was using today's sponsor, Squarespace, to create 1-minute reviews that were concise, useful, got straight to the point. We use Squarespace to build ourselves up to, first of all, make our 1-minute reviews, create our own blog, provide merchandise. We sold monthly subscriptions on there, as well as even scheduling appointments on there. Squarespace is a fantastic service I highly recommend from my own experience to use as a beginner. If you want a premium web builder that has a very simple click and drag system, helps you create a professional looking website for your own passion project, Squarespace are the people to do it for you. Whether you want to create your own blog, your own business, you want to offer your services to people, Squarespace is the builder to do it. If you want to get your passion project launched, I recommend you use the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment, guys, where we will offer to you a free 14-day trial on Squarespace, and subsequently, when you want to make your first purchase from Squarespace, use the discount code School of Scent at checkout to get 10% off. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Let's continue. 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. The note of tobacco, which can be a varied note. It can be applied in perfumery in lots of different ways. You can get some very high quality tobacco leaves that smells really natural and something you'd find not in a cigarette, for example. It's quite smooth and earthy. Or you can get very ashy, spiky tobaccos, like, of course, the infamous red tobacco. Tobacco itself is a note that's excellent, in my opinion. I really think it's quite masculine most of the time. It adds a lot of character to a fragrance. You get very relaxing, calming tobacco, like in Mon Tobacco Intensivo by Ormond Jane. Or you get more intense, evening-esque tobacco that might make you smell like a cigar. I got Alexandria fragrances, Hafez, 1984. I think that's the right way up. There we go. This is an excellent and affordable example of quite ashy, spiky tobacco. This isn't easy, smooth tobacco like something like in Naxos or Tobacco Vanille. This is more in your face. It has a lot of character. I think this is a fragrance I had to put on this list because it's still very attractive. This is going to be a lot of compliments. Similar to Angel's Share, there are boozy aspects here. There are spicy aspects, vanillic aspects. It smells Middle Eastern, but at the same time, it's easy to love in Western audiences. This is a loud, head-turning, attractive and affordable, but yet still niche-smelling tobacco fragrance that is a great head turner, 12 hours longevity. A lot of people compare this to red tobacco, but I think this is better personally. I think a lot of people should check this out, and it's a great way to get yourself started into Alexandria fragrances as well. Aquatic notes. Aquatic notes are generally formed by synthetic molecules like Cologne. There's other molecules that perfumers use that recreate this seawater effect. And it's an effect that once it came into the mainstream, it got really popular, mainly in the 80s and 90s, I believe, with fragrances like Davidoff's Cool Water, as well as this line here, Acqua Parfum. The Acqua line is legendary at this point. It is a safe, mainstream, aquatic fragrance. And I know it's sexy because it won our public reactions video that we did for it, I think, last year. And I think the Parfum is probably the best concentration right now. It is the most balanced. It reminds me of Acqua Essenza, which was the best Acqua in my opinion, that's now discontinued. It's masculine, aquatic, citrusy, herbaceous, a little bit metallic, just very sexy masculine perfumery. And lasts 12 hours, which is really impressive for an aquatic freshie. Aquatic fragrances are usually mainstream, fresh out the shower, very easy to wear, very easy to love. So if you want a really mass appealing, safe, reliable fragrance, then Acqua Parfum to me is the fragrance to do it. Now I want to move to the citrus family. I'm going to talk about lemon in this fragrance here. Citruses in general are a safe fragrance family. They're very easy to understand. We can relate to them because we've usually smelled an orange in real life. We've smelled lemon or lime. And when we smell in fragrances, it goes to the part of the brain that is more receptive to fragrance notes. Fresh citruses are very easy to appreciate. People love fresh perfumery. Generally, it's a more safe set of notes than sweeter notes, for example. Usually associated with spring and summer, this is a classic lemon fragrance. Chanel's Allure Homme Edition Blanche. This is a perfect example of using that fresh, invigorating aspect of lemon and then giving it character in lots of different interesting ways, through musks, vanilla, some lavender in here as well, to make it really clean, yet at the same time really sexy and attractive and elegant as well. It's not the longest lasting fragrance out there. You should know that with citrus heavy fragrances, they're going to be on a shorter duration most of the time, not always. But I still get around 6 hours with Allure Edition Blanche. I think it smells like a niche fragrance. It smells extremely high quality. The blend is perfect. And it just is that fragrance for the kind of guy who wants to have something very refreshing yet elegant at the same time. The woods family is a set of notes that is traditionally very masculine, and they're usually at the base of a perfume. The longest lasting perfume notes are very large molecules, often found from nature. And some of the most attractiveness I've experienced are from this kind of family. For me, sandalwood definitely has to be on this list. Sandalwood is a very thick, creamy wood that has a few variations, so you can get different effects with it. But generally, it's just a very distinct and attractive fragrance note that, to me, smells classical, but at the same time will never go out of style. And I just love the fact that fragrances that focus on sandalwood are generally long-lasting, masculine, and just do it for me. They just have a lot of warmth and character and attractiveness. My recommendation is going to be Floris's Santal Intense. This fragrance to me is spicy, blue, fresh out of the shower sandalwood. That's how I would describe it. If you're a fan of Bleu de Chanel's Parfum, I'm not saying they're clones at all, but if you like that fragrance, you're going to love this as well. This is a very versatile blue sandalwood fragrance. It's attractive, has good use of naturals. This is like niche perfumery wanted to go designer mass appeal in its approach, and it does have a slightly higher price tag. I would say go for the Santal Intense, don't go for the original, because the original is pretty much exactly the same. From what I can tell, there's no difference in terms of their composition. I literally just think Santal Intense is just a higher concentration, which makes the performance acceptable, because actually, unfortunately, the original Santal actually doesn't last that long, even though I know I was just saying sandalwood notes generally last a long time. They do, but I just think the performance is definitely better with Santal Intense, as you'd expect, and that's the fragrance concentration I recommend for this line. I think I'm going to get a full bottle of this. This is really attractive, beautiful if you love spicy, woody perfumery that's very balanced. You can wear this all year round as a daytime or nighttime signature. It's super versatile. Of course, in a similar family, you're going to have one of the most expensive ingredients in the world, which is oud. Oud in its natural real form is tens of thousands of pounds per kilo for the best grade stuff. Very hard to find, very rare, and very complex. It's very attractive because it can be used in so many interesting different ways. It's highly sought after by perfumers for a good reason. You can get more clean oud applications, more dirty animalic applications. I think when you want to get into oud, you might want to go for the more beginner-friendly stuff. This is a very expensive fragrance, but it's still extremely easy to love. It's a great way of showing how attractive oud can be. That is Amouage's Jubilation 40. For transparency, this was gifted to me, but I think if you have the money, you're not gonna be disappointed by this. You want the highest concentration stuff for £400. You want the best ingredients, the best blend. I wish it performed a little bit better, but it's still very much accessible performance. It's just that at £400, I wish it lasted easily longer than 8 hours. It should be at least 12 hours. But yeah, it's just about just over 8 hours with a medium-ish projection. So it's not bad performance, but you know, it's £400, so I'm a little bit nitpicky now. But yeah, if you want to spend, you want to splurge out because you want the real best oud out there that smells extremely attractive. This is fruity, spicy, Middle Eastern, tiny bit smoky, ambery oud. Very balanced, very easy, as I said. But at the same time, it doesn't smell like a beginner juvenile scent. This is still a fragrance that's complex. I don't think you'll ever get bored of this. And yeah, rightly so, the Jubilation 25 DNA is highly praised, and I think Jubilation 40 just carries that on. The note of amber. Amber is an imaginary accord that perfumers make through the use of labdanum, vanillin, and some sort of musk. So there's different variations on the amber accord. It's kind of an imaginary accord that recreates this glowing amber warm effect to a fragrance. It has some sweetness in there. It's kind of not as gourmand as vanilla. It's not as animalic or musky as tonka bean. So it's something in the middle. Amber is one of those notes I mentioned earlier in the video that's just very attractive, often associated with evening perfumery, but it can be used in a wide variety of settings. And I think if you want a fragrance that kind of emphasizes the attractiveness of this accord or note on its own, you kind of need something that's a little bit simplistic and kind of just really makes that amber shine. I'm going to recommend the Labo's Another 13. I love to hate on the brand of the Labo, but I actually think this is a really attractive fragrance. It's quite a heavy, but still simplistic, minimalistic, molecule-based perfume. Sort of, if you like Molecule 01 by Eccentric Molecules, this is sort of the upgrade in my opinion. It has a few aspects going on in here, so it's more than just one molecule. It's musky, it's got amber in here, it's got some wood, so it's a musky, woody amber is how I describe it. That's kind of it. And that's basically its entire scent profile. It's very linear, but it lasts over 12 hours. So it's a niche fragrance that I think is worth it because it smells super attractive, super easy to wear. I think you could easily wear this as a base if you want to increase the longevity of any of your fragrances, but I enjoy wearing this on its own. Like 2 sprays, I can smell this on me all day easily over 12 hours. So I think this is a really interesting signature that just shows to you how attractive molecule perfumery can be. So check it out. And lastly, the notorious note of ambroxan. Ambroxan is a synthetic base note that is meant to replicate ambergris, which is whale excrement. And it does it in obviously a more synthetic way, and you can get it in different variants from what I can tell, and some of them to me smell more attractive than others. The more expensive ones usually are more attractive to my experience. Ambroxan can be extremely annoying in things like Dior Sauvage, to some people is very annoying, the Eau de Toilette, because ambroxan has a sort of screechy, synthetic, piercing effect that kind of lasts for a long time. It's a very tenacious, long-lasting base note. But in other fragrances, like to me, I think Baccarat Rouge 540 uses a more attractive variation or approach to ambroxan. I like that fragrance a lot. And I think this fragrance is also another example of that. This is Bond Number 9 Lafayette Street. This is a fragrance that uses ambroxan really attractively. It has other really attractive notes like coriander. It's got this sort of spiciness to it. It's got green apple. It's woody, it's ambery. It's sweet, but at the same time, not annoyingly sweet. It still feels like a signature that just smells attractive, playful, and casual and laid back. Sort of if like La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL had a baby with Parfum de Marley's Percival. This is how I would describe this fragrance. It has that fresh aspect mixed with that romantic, warmer aspect. So that basically to me is signature material right there. Balanced, versatile fragrances are often like this. It lasts a long time, 8 to 10 hours. The ambroxan does stay through, but unlike something like Sauvage, this ambroxan is quite pleasant. This is a very pleasant and easy fragrance to like. Just bear in mind you're going for a more designer-esque fragrance for a niche price tag, but I think it's very sexy and versatile. And that concludes this video, guys. What are some of your favorite fragrance notes out there? What are the ones that you think are super attractive? What are some fragrances that you think are attractive, and highlight how attractive these individual notes are to you? Let us know in the comments down below, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video on fragrance notes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.